inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it.
Some of our projects start off with people coming to council and saying, hey, you guys need to fix this. And a lot of the time we work to kind of flip that on its head and say to people, well, what would you like to see happen in that space? So specifically with the garden, it was, this is looking awful, council needs to come in and fix it, and empowering people to go away and think about what they can bring to that process and what they would like to see in that space, so that it becomes a community space that they're engaged in, rather than just a pretty piece of scenery that you walk past on your way to work. And so within that process, community were really involved with the design of the garden and what it would look and feel like, what it would smell like, what it would be like if you were there, and then involved quite heavily with all the ups and downs of making that happen. So, and then walk away and be like, we made this garden.
Yeah, so for me, I've been part of the Goodie Patch, which is a garden that's connected to the Goodwood Primary School, but it's also co-managed by the council and community members and the school. So it's quite a unique garden in terms of its management style. So that garden is connected to where my children are learning, so that was a big part of stepping into that for me, and becoming part of that process and doing it that way as well. So just all the personalities and the coming together is very interesting. When you research and sit back, you can kind of make suggestions, but when you're actually physically there, it's a whole different kettle of fish. So, and then the other side of things that's been chugging along is the Edible Churches research project that Pilgrim Uniting have kindly supported, looking at gardens that are on church property and how more churches could potentially grow food in their properties. You know, some people saying it's about the garden in order to do community engagement, you know, so the garden's kind of secondary, whereas I would tend to think that we hold those two in tension together, because for me it is about producing food, it is about the garden, it is about the aesthetics and all of the therapy that happens in garden.
And in terms of ways to bring people together, people see the value of community gardens and see what that does, and then it's like, come to council and say, we want to put together a community garden, how do we do it? It just needs some land. Whereas you're working in such a small concrete environment, you have to think really creatively, like you guys have here about your planter boxes and being able to move them to get the sun and different times of year and all that sort of stuff. So for us, it's, I guess, throwing out the challenge to people to think about the partnerships you could make, which is a really interesting one, which I haven't thought a lot about because there's lots of churches in the city of churches. To be able to be smart about utilising land in creative ways, particularly in the city.
Because, you know, all of the buildings in the city can either be closed or open depending on the people inside them and what they're endeavouring to do with them. And I've said to us, you know, the more I talk to people about gardens, the less I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'd be encouraging a church to do. I'm like, steer clear, steer clear.
Or go in with your eyes very, very wide open about these are the possibilities.
But I think councils and churches are aware of the dynamics of working with people, because that's what they do day in, day out. And so to add another messy project to their schedule of projects is not that daunting, as long as they've got a few people coming with scones.
And if you and if you see that as your role, like you guys do what you need to do, and I'll try and help manage that, those social interactions, that's you helping to facilitate people to be more communicative and be, you know, like capacity building stuff about, maybe managing your behaviour a little bit differently or contributing to the group a little bit differently. And let them get on with the rest of it.
Yes.
Fertile ground, inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rains come tumbling down.
You can see on here there's a smile meter on this camera, so you're hitting good numbers. That's good. That's right.
Seasoned with a cheerful song, Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her loving care. Old crow watching from a tree got his hungry eye on